Hey guys, it's Travis Mortz again with the ForesthillFilmLab. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my Polaroid 366 project. Basically aiming to shoot a Polaroid a day for every day this year. I did a project like this back in 2011 and it was really quite a challenge, but I know that I'm able to start and complete something like this. The only difference is this year I really wanted all my hard work to be for something. 5 years ago when I did this, I don't have anything to show for from all my hard work. I just have, a blog post or something like that to send people to. It's just not quite, what I wanted from it. So because of that, I decided to shoot Polaroids and, therefore have something tangible to hold on to and look at in the future to remember all my hard work. So basically, I wanted to start a video or make a video for you guys that describes, which cameras I'll be using throughout the year and, why I'll be using some cameras over other cameras and whatnot. So basically, I'm going to get into it and explain to you guys some of the different Polaroids I have here, as well as continuing to talk about the my plans for the project upcoming this year. So, alrighty, so for those of you guys watching this video, I'm assuming you've probably seen some of my other videos. This here is my Graflex RB Super D. This is really the camera that inspired me to do this project. Over the last year shooting this camera, as well as my Series D, the older version, I realized that, with a machine like this, it really opens the doors to a lot of different photographs. I was used to shooting Polaroids on a view camera before this, and it's really quite a different experience. So the Graflex here is really gonna be my main camera throughout the whole entire year. It is gonna be my go-to because it really is the end-all be-all for Polaroids, like I mentioned in my previous video. That being said, it's very cumbersome. It's really heavy and hard to lug around, and I don't have a strap for this one. So because of that, I am going to run into some limitations throughout the year, and I recognize that, so I have other tools to compensate. So anyways, I'm not going to get too far into this camera because I described it pretty in depth in my previous video. If you'd like to learn more about it and you haven't watched my previous video, please go check that out. But yeah, this is basically a SLR Polaroid camera that has a rear curtain shutter, so I could shoot it as slow as 30th of a second handheld without getting a soft image. And because of that, it's extremely capable, and I have full control over all of my settings. Polaroid's been around for a long time, and I for a long time wasn't interested in shooting it, mostly because the Polaroid cameras out on the market were very automatic, and I didn't really like that. I didn't find it to be very intriguing. So once I discovered a way to shoot Polaroids with controlling aperture and shutter speed, I was definitely on board, and this is like the ultimate camera to do that with. So moving on, this is the Polaroid RB Super D. Like I said, it's got to be my go-to camera for the year, but I really made this video to show you guys the other stuff I'll be shooting, not this camera. So we'll move on from here. So the next camera I'm going to talk about is this one. This is a Polaroid Reporter. I found this in an estate sale. It was a huge estate sale. There was like 1,000 cameras there, like literally like 1,000 cameras there. And I was like the 25th person in the door, and I didn't get a whole lot of good stuff, but when I left, I thought that I forgot something, which I still think I did. Anyways, so I went back about 45 minutes later to go retrieve what I'd forgotten, and it was, of course, gone. But when I was back in there, I went searching around again, and I saw this on the shelf, and I didn't think much of it, but when I picked it up, I saw this little tag here. It was a personal note, and it says, install 2 AA batteries. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, is this an automatic Polaroid camera that doesn't take a specialty battery? So I looked at it, and I looked on the inside, and the 2 batteries go right here next to the lens. And I was like, oh my goodness, like this is a good camera to have because it's very simple to use, it's very compact, and it's actually an automatic Polaroid camera that doesn't take specialty batteries. So I really was digging on that. And also, it has a manual focus. So like I mentioned earlier, I'm the kind of guy that really likes to have some control over the photo, and even having manual focus is good enough for me. Please excuse me if I seem like I'm a little bit cold. It's about 45 degrees inside my darkroom, so I'm trying not to shiver here, but it's a little difficult. So, anyways, this camera creates some really awesome results. I've actually got some examples here to show you guys briefly. Let's see here. Oh yes, and this camera actually, this particular camera creates some weird light leaks sometimes. I'll show you guys here. You see these light leaks? I don't know what causes it. I think it might just be a solar flare kind of thing, but pretty neat. But it also does. I mean, it does a great job with exposure. This is down at the Sutro baths. This is a one-shot thing, and that's an absolutely beautiful photo. I can't complain about that. So after taking this thing to San Francisco one time, it won my heart, and it's a good $10 camera in my opinion. It has automatic exposure for 75 ISO and 3000 ISO. So it's just a great little camera, and it also accepts flash cubes, which I'm gonna have to find some for. Anyways, so that is the Polaroid Reporter. This is probably gonna be my number 2 camera, mostly because it's compact and I could trust it really, really good. So that's the Polaroid Reporter. Next camera we're going to take a look at is not the prettiest camera I own, but I'm still pretty proud of it. This is what I call the Frankenroid. Before I had the Polaroid Reporter, I wanted to have something compact, and like I mentioned earlier, I don't like the use of special batteries, and I wanted to have some sort of shutter and aperture control. So I pulled this lens off of an old folding camera. It was, probably from 1910 or 1915, if I remember correctly, an old German camera, and it is a Meyer Gorlitz Trioplan, 10 centimeter f4.5. So it's just as fast as my Graflex, but it's kind of cool because it's a repeating shutter, so you don't need to cock the shutter every time. It has a maximum 125th shutter speed, so this is basically what I call a Sunny 16 camera. I can change the aperture, and that's about it. That's all you need to do. And the nice thing about this lens is that it was a variable focus lens for the front of this camera that it was originally on, and because of that, I was lucky enough to be able to calibrate the viewfinder or the rangefinder in here with the optics of the lens by screwing it in. And because of that, the rangefinder on this camera is accurate for the lens. Here would be minimum focus. Anyway, so I can shoot this thing handheld with an accurate focus, and I get to determine my aperture, which, like I've said, I love doing that. So it was a really cool camera for me that I really enjoyed making. It was quite a lot of grinding and cutting, including my fingers. And I've really only shot about a pack of film through it because I'm kind of a prude and I don't really want to walk around with this thing. But a friend of mine, Dylan, he took this camping with him and shot 2 or 3 packs through it. And he came back with some really awesome results. Actually, I've got some frames here to show us. Let's see. Nothing too special. Here's a frame that I shot to test the focus. I later ended up using an empty Polaroid container like this, and what I did was I took it apart. There's Dylan now. I took it apart like this, and I put a piece of wax paper in here, and I put it in the back of the camera, and I focused it, and then moved the lens until it matched up with infinity, and then tested it across the board, and it worked out pretty good. So if you guys were wondering how to calibrate the focus, that's how you do it. And another thing I learned doing some research, the standard focal length for these kinds of land cameras is 107 millimeters approximately. So because of that, I was able to make the 100 millimeter work just by screwing the element in. But yeah, if you guys want to make a Frankenroid like this hideous beast, I suggest you go out and find an old folding camera with something approximately 100 millimeters, and you shouldn't have too much issue to convert your own. So that's the Frankenroid. I'm probably going to let Dylan shoot this one because all he has is his Graflex, so I don't know how much I'll be using this one throughout the year, but I still wanted to show it to you guys because it's my, my beautiful creation. So there's the Frankenroid. Let's move on to the next camera. So the next camera I wanted to talk to you guys about is the real workhorse of the project. It is this one. This is my Linhof Technica. This is actually the camera that I started shooting Polaroids with. A few years back I bought a Polaroid 405 back because I really wanted to get more comfortable shooting this camera, but at the time I didn't have the means to be developing 4x5 often, so I bought a Polaroid back that shot modern day pack film, and I used this. And for probably about a year I shot this camera, and I really became pretty proficient with it, and I'm even comfortable shooting it handheld, which is pretty awesome. But really what this camera does is this really covers all the bases that the other cameras won't. This one really fills in all the holes that every other camera can't fill. With this camera I'm able to shoot flashes with a Pocket Wizard. I'm not able to do that with any of the other cameras I'm using. Maybe the Frankenroid, but I don't even think it has a modern PC on it. No, it doesn't. So, I mean, yeah, this is really the only camera I'm going to be able to shoot flash with. But in addition to that, it has so many more capabilities. Because it's a large format camera, I'm able to shoot macro with it. I'm able to do tilt and shift. With these knobs back here, I'm able to change the film plane. Let's see, this is my favorite part. You see I could change the film plane, so I could do all kinds of different tilting and shifting techniques. As well as, it's got rise and drop, if I drop it this way. So, because of that, this camera is really the workhorse of the project. When I really find myself in a pickle where I need to shoot something in low light, it's going to be the Linhof every single time. There's not really a whole lot of other options for me. I'm not really a huge 3000 ISO shooter, mostly because of the price and because I've had a low success rate with it. So I'm pretty much always shooting 100 ISO pack film, and because of that, low light is definitely going to be a problem for me, and that's where this is going to come in. In addition, this has a 3.8 lens on it, so it is faster than most of the other cameras I'm shooting as well. And let's see. And the results from this camera are just phenomenal. The only downside is that with this camera I don't have the ability to shoot candidly as well. See, this is a photo shot with this camera a while back. And like I mentioned, shooting flash with this camera is a real game changer. This is a portrait of Grant Britton. He is one of the head photographers for Transworld Skateboarding, and it's upcoming. So he's also a co-owner of Skate Magazine. So that's pretty awesome. And as you can see, the flash with this camera is a huge advantage over the other cameras. So yeah, that's the Linhof. There's so many other features I could show you guys about this camera, but I'm just kind of trying to brief up what I'll be shooting this year. Let's see here. So that's the Linhof, and it's actually pretty compact. It has a rotating back, so I could shoot Polaroids vertically or horizontally, which I intend to do this year. And I also want to talk to you guys a little bit about my intentions with this project. I want to try to keep it interesting with different cameras and different film types. This is some expired 669 film from 1994. This kind of stuff is what really excites me, is trying to go out there and create different images. Whether they're good or bad is up to the viewer, I suppose. But yeah, so this is the Linhof, the beast, the beautiful beast. So we're gonna move on to the last camera, which is probably the most interesting of them all, and I'll talk to you guys about that one. So the last camera I wanted to share with you guys is probably one of the more interesting cameras. it is this Polaroid Quad camera. I saw this thing out at an antique swap meet, and it had been a few weeks or maybe days, I'm not really sure, since I bought a camera, so I was kind of feeling a little itchy. And I spent a little too much on it. I gave the guy like 80 bucks for this thing, which I guess is okay. I didn't really plan to keep it forever, but it's definitely here to stay now. One of the really cool things about this camera is that it's an old Polaroid passport camera, so it's got 4 lenses on it, and what that does is it makes 4 separate images. Here, you can see 4 separate images in the back. And this is a really old one, so my favorite part about it is that it comes with shutter speed control. And if you look on the lenses here, you can see it has aperture control, and all of these dials move simultaneously. And that is basically what did me in when I found this camera, is I noticed that it had manual shutter and aperture control, and then I pretty much just threw my money at the guy because I had to have it. And once I got home, I figured out that they're pretty cheesy, but it's a fun camera to shoot, and it makes some really interesting results. The only downside to this camera that I soon discovered was that it has a minimum focusing distance of about, what was it, like 6 feet or 5 feet. I have to look it up every time I shoot this camera to figure out what the minimum focusing. It's actually the only focusing distance unless I turn my aperture down, but as you can see, it's a fixed focus camera because it's made to be shot for passport photos in a small enclosed space, and not made to be used for art. But I beg to differ. And another fun thing I did with this camera is, and I hope to experiment more with, is covering 2 of the lenses and then covering the other 2 lenses and getting multiple images on one frame. As you can see here, I just covered 2 and took 2 different frames, but it creates a really interesting effect, I think. I think it's pretty neat. So that is the Polaroid Quad camera. This thing weighs about as much as my Graflex, so carrying it around is also not going to be very practical, but it's pretty awesome. It's a pretty neat little find, and I expect to make some interesting stuff with it throughout the year that you guys won't see coming, hopefully. So that is this camera. It even has a tripod socket here and here. Look how nice that is. But yeah, that's the Polaroid Quad camera made by Avant. With it's got an actual real Polaroid back on it though. So let me set that aside. Anyways, guys, I wanted to thank you for watching. I would like it if you could follow me on Instagram if you don't already, @KillinDreams. And my buddy Dylan is also doing the same project with me with his Graflex. And both of our posts will be under the Polaroid 366 hashtag on Instagram. I suppose it'll also be on Facebook as well, because I do post on Facebook with my Instagram posts. But yeah, if you guys are digging it, tag a friend or something, or let someone else know that you're digging my project, and I just love to share it with more people. I look forward to making more Polaroids for you guys this year. I actually have to go out in the rain pretty soon and go make one for today, so stay tuned to see what that's going to be. So yeah, as you can see, there's no shortage of Polaroids around here. I hope to share them all with you someday. And until then, thank you guys for watching. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the support. It keeps me motivated to keep making more videos. Just seeing you guys comment and like my videos makes me feel really good. So thank you guys. And until next time, keep on shooting.